Hello and welcome to One Trinity Place in San Antonio, Texas, as we're set for a top 25 matchup in Division III baseball. It's SUNY Cortland versus Trinity University. Hello, everybody. I'm Cole Isaacson, joined alongside my partner, Reed Rosales. And Reed, top 25 baseball in San Antonio. 4-game series between two heavyweights in Division III, two classic programs. What could be better than this?
Not much, Cole, and it's a very intriguing series indeed. I think both teams trying to recuperate after taking a tough loss in the case of the Tigers and some tough losses in case of the Red Dragons, but I think we're going to have a really good game today.
See on your screen the starting lineup for number 24 ranked SUNY Cortland. Chris Benassi leads things off in center field, followed by Lucas Granger in right. Nolan Smith at first base, Luke Shartner in left field. Dylan Tierney at third base, JJ DeLauder at DH, followed by Zachary Kingdon at catcher, Elkins at second, and Merola at shortstop in the 9-hole. And pitching for the Tigers, the first year, making his first start of the season, it's Joey Hagan on the mound for the Tigers.
Yeah, Joey, he hasn't had a lot of action this year. Only a 1 1/3 inning pitched against various opponents, but you know, he's a guy that the Tigers want to test out against a stout SUNY Cortland lineup, and you know, I think they're going to give him a good challenge. 0 ERA right now. We'll see how long that lasts.
The Tigers, you presume, rolling with their usual 3 weekend starters as the series progresses, but somebody having to get the nod in this Thursday game, similar to a series the Tigers had against the University of Wisconsin-Whitewater a year ago. We're ready to go. Benassi steps into the batter's box. Hagan on the mound. 2 top 25 ball clubs on the field. First pitch, and we're underway from San Antonio with strike 1, a fastball from Hagan.
I love the energy right off the bat from both dugouts. The Red Dragons really supporting Benassi as they're trying to get off to a great start.
Benassi drops down a bunt, but a little high into the left for his liking. It goes foul for strike 2. Chris Benassi, one of the better hitters on this Dragons team, making his 10th start in 10 appearances. A .323 hitter on the season. First team all-conference last year in the SUNYAC. The 0-2 in the dirt, 1-2.
It's a really big first batter to take on if you're Hagan. There's no easy bat on this SUNY Cortland Dragon team, but this one of the more challenging.
The 1-2 from Hagan. Ground ball fair down the third base line. Benassi headed for second. That ball's all the way in the corner. Content with 2 and a stand-up double. Good start for the Red Dragons.
And yeah, that was just straight up small ball. Not going for some heavy contact. You can see the swing a bit more controlled. Puts it right in maybe the worst spot if you're an outfielder for the Tigers. That corner, easy double.
Lucas Granger, the number 2 hitter, stepping up to the plate for the Dragons, working with Benassi on second. Granger, a .314 hitter, 6 RBI, opportunity for his 7th. First pitch, swung on and driven to left field, deep, back at the wall, it's gone! A brilliant swing from Granger, and the Dragons lead it 2-0.
Yeah, and that was gone off the bat. You could tell by the noise it made. It's one of the few balls I've seen go over the scoreboard here at Trinity. That was pretty awesome. You can see here, yeah, right down where the batter loves to swing. Yeah, and it made sense how far it went because of that.
Lucas Granger, not really a slugging hitter in his season with Cortland so far, only .343 in slugging percentage coming into this year. That went up a little bit. His first home run of the season. Now Hagan has to deal with Nolan Smith, nearly a .300 hitter on the year, making his 11th start. Base is empty, still nobody out. Pitch away, ball 1. And not the start Hagan wanted on his next batter after giving up the 2-run homer. Cortland now up 2-0. Swung on and fouled across the street behind the ballpark.
If you're Hagen at this point, you just got to recuperate. You've given up the early bomb. Settle in and get the next guy out.
The 2-1. Outside ball 3. Inside ball 4. And all 3 batters that have come up to the plate for the Red Dragons have reached.
Man, I think this is just Hagen being a little off kilter after the home run. Put 1 strike in there, but after that, he was just really trying to get the batter to chase, and he didn't.
And it doesn't get any easier with the cleanup hitter, Luke Shartner, hitting .366 on the year. First pitch. Strike on the outside edge, a slider. Shartner, the senior from Bayport, New York, making his 11th appearance of the season. Hagen checks on the runner at first. Back safely is Smith. Still no outs on the board. Thinks about bunting, pulls it back. Pitch is high, 1-1.
And Hagen still trying to settle in. Very, very reserved approach. Trying to catch the corner, but just not getting it.
The 1-1. Swung on, lifted to center field. McDonald is there and makes the catch for the first out of the inning. Much needed for Joey Hagen.
And yeah, you said it, Cole. Much needed. He got it. Still some solid contact off the bat of Shartner, which is promising if you're the Red Dragons, but, you know, can't get more promising than that 2-run bomb they just hit.
Cortland already up 2-0. Dylan Tierney comes up to the plate, the third baseman, takes strike 1 down the chute, 0-1. With 1 down, and Smith still waiting on first. Pitch in the dirt, 1-1. Tierney, a .333 hitter so far on the year. Slugging percentage very high at .528. Hit a home run versus Christopher Newport on February 22nd. The 1-1, swing and a miss. Big cut from Tierney brings the count to 1-2.
And this is a Tiger team that's kind of gotten used to being down early in the past couple of games. See if they can bounce back. They need Hagen to come through.
The 1-2. Hit in the air, but out of play. Foul on the roof of the Bell Center. 2, 3, 4 hops. We do the 1-2 count again. Fouled off in a similar spot, deeper under the roof of the Bell Center. And again, only a 4-hopper. For those of you just joining us, it's your first game on Tiger Network, the record is 7. We're seeing if any ball can beat that, or maybe even if it can statistically happen. The 1-2 checks on Smith, dives back safely once again. You mentioned it, Reed, the Tigers falling behind once again. Had to come back and walk off McMurray to sweep that series. Fell behind 3-0, both to Nichols and to Sales in back-to-back nights. Strike 3 called. Hagen gets Tierney looking, 2 down in the inning.
Again, another big out. Great breaking ball. Completely freezes Tierney. Now you're just 1 out away from getting out of the inning if you're Hagen.
Now J.J. DeLauder comes up to bat, the lefty from Hyde Park. The average a little down this season so far, has the chance to get it up. Swung on and fouled into the right field parking lot above the batting cages.
Yeah, Cole, this has been a Tigers team that's just kind of been playing with fire the past couple of games in terms of the ways they've trailed. They finally got burnt yesterday, unfortunately.
The 0-1. Fouled left field way. Brings the count to 0-2. Trinity falling 4-3 last night to the Sales, an unexpected loss to say the least. They were 13-1 coming into that game, now 13-2. The 0-2 from Hagen. Ball outside, runner goes, throw to second, in time! They nab Smith and it ends the inning. But Cortland, a hot start with the bats. A 2-run homer from Granger gives the Red Dragons the early lead. Welcome back to the campus of Trinity University. You see the hometown Trinity Tigers on your screen. And their lineup leading off will be Callan Singhania, the sophomore playing right field today. Maddox McDonald in center, followed by Nick Lazera doing the catching duties today. Then Will Baker in the cleanup position at first base. Cal Coney at second. Brandon Nelson at DH for the second night in a row. Kai Tinker at third base. Pierce Matthews in left. And John Ramsey at shortstop. And pitching for the Red Dragons will be Nick Jessen. Jessen 2-1 so far on the season in 3 starts. ERA just a little bit over 6. But Reed, a lot of that had to do with his most recent start against one of the best teams in the country in Johns Hopkins.
Yeah, Johns Hopkins roughed him up a little bit. He gave up 5 runs, didn't even go 2 innings. No shame in that. Johns Hopkins, their field, they were at Johns Hopkins. Their field is short, and it plays short. Unfortunately, Jessen could not figure out the Blue Jays. He had good starts against Immaculata and Christopher Newport, but one bad start this early on in the season can really inflate that ERA.
His first batter that he will face is Callan Singhania, 214 average on the year, starting in the leadoff position today. Singhania got the start in last night's game. Back-to-back starts for the first time this season for the sophomore. First pitch. Fastball down the middle, strike 1.
And if you're in tune with the D3 baseball world, you recognize all the names that he's faced so far.
Round ball through the middle. It's a base hit for Singhania and a good start for Trinity. The Tigers, who didn't get their first hit until the 3rd inning last night, start off 1 for 1.
A great job by Singhania. When we saw him that he was going to be leading off, it was kind of a shocker that we didn't see Woodward, but proving that he belongs in that leadoff spot maybe with the leadoff single.
Brings up Maddox McDonald, who's been hitting second for most of the season. McDonald well above 300 on the batting average. Takes a pitch outside, ball 1.
Really, for Jessen, it's to get settled in, facing another top-ranked team in the Tigers. Cortland, they've been challenging themselves this season.
Pitch misses outside, 2-0. You mentioned it was a surprise not to see Caleb Woodward missing his first game of the year. You would assume just a rest. Tigers have already played now 16 games. Checks on Singhania at first, who crawls back safely.
Caleb Woodward will not be the Cal Ripken of the Trinity Tigers.
No, he will not. Woodward, who had hit in the leadoff spot every single game Trinity has played, getting the night off. McDonald at the plate. Takes a pitch high, 3-0. He referenced how the last start went for Nick Jessen. 1.1 innings pitched versus John Hopkins, 7 hits, 5 earned runs. But before that, he had been very good. fires a strike to make it 3-1. 10 innings pitched in his previous 2 starts, only 3 earned runs allowed in those. So overall, the number's very inflated this early in the year. The 3-1 pitch inside, ball 4, and the first 2 Tigers reach base.
Great patience by McDonald. Get yourself on base. If Justin's not going to throw you a strike, there's no reason to swing. Very wise by McDonald.
Now the number 3 hitter, Nick Lazera, the catcher who had a very good night last night. The Tigers only had 4 hits on the entire night, only getting 3 runs. First 2 hits were off the bat of Lazera, first one being a 2-run homer to make it a 3-2 game at the time against DeSales. First pitch taken away, ball 1.
I think a very wise decision to have an early meeting at the mound.
So far, a loss of control from Jessen. Full infield meeting. Jessen trying to find his form from early in the year. Not a good start so far. Obviously, the first 2 batters reaching, and a much needed start for the Tigers. Not something we'd seen offensively from them in these past few games. It's been slow start after slow start. Maybe trying to get some runs and respond to Cortland's 2-run inning.
Yeah, an opportunity to score early. Of course, that double play is on the table for the Red Dragons. That would be big for Jessen if he could induce that contact from Lazera.
Lazera did ground into 2 double plays on Tuesday night. The 1-0. Inside, strike called.
And we mentioned the previous opponents. Christopher Newport, Immaculata, these are teams that make the NCAA tournament nearly year after year after year. They're quality squads. And he pitched well against them, just trying to figure things out.
The 1-1 to Lazera. Ground ball, first base side, but foul.
Almost dangerous, Cole. That would have gotten down the line. That would have definitely scored a run.
We've seen defensive alignments against these Tigers where the first baseman for each team will hug the line pretty tight. Smith doing so for the Red Dragons in this inning. The 1-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. That's strike 3 and a much needed out for Jessen.
Yeah, you've got that right, Cole. Much needed out. Great job to get the strikeout. You'll see on the replay. Pitch starts breaking down. Lazera goes chasing a little bit. Doesn't break quite as much as I think Lazera was expecting it to.
Now the cleanup hitter, Will Baker, who's made the last several starts at first base. .357 hitter on the year, OPS over 900. Works with runners on first and second. Pitch catches the zone, strike 1.
And we'll see if this is a change of pace for Jessen. The words from his coach inspiring him, because he's looked like a bit of a different pitcher after that meeting.
The command seems to be there for Jessen now, 0-1 count. Swing and a miss. Nice breaking ball at 74, 0-2 on Baker.
And this is a Cortland squad that, after that game against Trinity DeSales, they were out here practicing, getting ready for this game. They are completely ready.
The 0-2 pitch. Singhania at second, McDonald at first. Ground ball, foul towards the Cortland dugout. Baker in the 0-2 hole. Still 1 down in the inning. Throws off the backside. Singhania walks back safely.
They keep the runner in check. But for Will Baker, it's a really big at bat. You can see there's a, if you can go opposite here, there's a pretty large hole between third and second.
Fouled off above the screen. Still 0-2. Baker continues to battle. Shortstop holding Singhania at second. Another 0-2 pitch to Baker. Still only one down in the inning. Cortland up 2-0. Pitch away, ball one.
Good eyes by Will Baker. That was an enticing pitch, I'm sure, but to lay off it, stay alive, keep Jessen throwing.
Jessen trying to finish the job. This at-bat has gone on a while. Already a taxing inning for the left-hander. Ball two. Same pitch, same result. You see on your screen already 16 pitches thrown from Jessen. Though a ground ball could end it. Swing and a miss. That's strike three. Gets Baker after a long at-bat. 2 down.
And it was the same pitch again, Cole. He threw it 3 times in a row, just saying, chase this pitch, and then Will Baker, 3rd time's the charm, chased the pitch.
Brings up the second baseman, the junior Cal Coney, a 250 hitter on the year. 3 RBIs, trying to add on to that total. Now 2 down in the inning, back-to-back strikeouts from Nick Jessen. Takes a strike, a fastball down the middle, 0-1.
That must have been quite the inspiring speech, because Jessen has just kept every Tiger bat guessing.
Fouled into the screen, 0-2. And Jessen gets ahead again after some control issues that led to a no-out walk. Runners on first and second. All of a sudden, an opportunity to get out of this inning. No runs allowed. The 0-2 to Coney. Inside edge, strike 3 called. Back-to-back-to-back strikeouts. End the inning for Nick Jessen. Cortland up 2-0 here in San Antonio. Welcome back. The top of the second inning here in San Antonio. Cortland and the Red Dragons with the 2-0 lead here against the Trinity Tigers. A top 25 matchup. Trinity number 7 in the country. Cortland number 24. First pitch to J.J. DeLauder. Outside ball 1. DeLauder ended the last inning up to bat. Runner caught stealing. So he comes back up again. Another opportunity. Ahead 1-0 on Joey Hagan. Lined through the middle. This could find the gap. DeLauder hustling for 2. He'll get there with ease. Lead off, stand up double for Cortland.
Solid contact. And you know, Coney trying to get it. Maybe not enough reaction time to lay out to try and get it. Lets it go into the gap and cause a whole lot more damage.
So another leadoff double for Cortland. It was Bonacci in the first inning, and now DeLauder in the second. Brings up the catcher, Cringdon. Zachary Crington, a .346 hitter, OPS over 1,000 so far through 10 games. Fastball finds the zone for strike one. Cortland trying to add on to this lead, already up 2-0. A 2-run homer from Granger in the first. Hagen ahead, 0-1. Runner on second, nobody out. Drops down the bunt, but it leaks foul. Brings the count to 0-2. We've seen that a couple times, Reed. They go swinging on that first pitch, but once it goes to 0-1, eventually they try and drop down the bunt. Interesting, because you really only have one opportunity.
It is interesting, I guess maybe just to catch the pitcher off guard. You know, the Tigers have done well with batters that have come up trying to bunt. It didn't go so well against DeSales. That's kind of the first game where a team really got their bunts down.
The 0-2. Swing and a miss, strike three. Second strikeout of the game for Joey Hagen, one down in the inning.
And Hagen not bothered by DeLauder at his back. Gets the strikeout, very clean.
Elkins now comes up to the plate, a .286 average on the season. Playing second base today. Pitch outside, 1-0.
Taylor Elkins. Now when you're at that bottom part of the order, looking for you to score a run on the man with the man that's on second.
The 1-0 from Hagen. Strike called, fastball finds the zone, one apiece. Hagen coming off a strikeout of Crington. His second of the game. Still working with the runner on second in DeLauder. Golf swing foul. 1-2.
Another big moment for Hagen. That was some solid contact on the foul ball, even though maybe a bit more defensive. Get that a little fair, and you can score DeLauder very easily.
The 1-2. Check swing, didn't go around, ball in the dirt. Lazara able to jump on top of it and keep DeLauder at second.
It's a good idea, trying to get him to chase, but unfortunately, maybe broke a little too much before it actually reached the plate.
Hagen deciding what pitch he'll throw, has it now. 2-2. Outside, full count.
Hagen was trying to blow him away. Slow breaking ball followed by an 86-mile-per-hour fastball. Fortunately, just couldn't locate.
Countdown count. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. Runner on second for Cortland. Ground ball to Coney. Picks it up on a hop. Throw to first is not in time. Gets away for a second. Runner coming home and will score. Excellent base running from DeLauder, and the error from Trinity makes it 3-0 Cortland.
Yeah, and that was just a disaster for the Tigers defensively. The throw from Coney, you can't make that throw if you're at second base. You have to, when you're that close to the first baseman, you can't have it skipping off the ground.
So the throw short will go down as an E4, and a run scored for Cortland, 3-0 Red Dragons. Thinking about the platoon between Michael Lustina and Coney. Trinity loves Michael Lustina's defense, and Coney's bat. Figuring out who's going to get the best of both. Pitch from Hagen inside to the 9-hole hitter. Nick Marola up to the plate, the senior from Saratoga, New York, in his 11th game of the year. A .231 hitter so far on the season, playing shortstop today. 2-0 pitch finds the zone, strike one. 3-0 Red Dragons have the lead here in game one of a 4-game series. Runner on first is Elkins. Still only one down in the inning. Checks on Elkins, who skips back safely. Elkins on board by the E4 of Calcone. Pitch finds the outside part of the zone. Strike two.
Got another good opportunity for a strikeout for Hagen. Double play on the table for the Tigers, but Hagen's been taking on every batter head on.
Still looking for that second out. This is hit in the air to deep left field. Back at the wall. You can kiss it goodbye. Nick Marola, the second two-run homer of the day for the Red Dragons, makes it 5-0 as they've blown this one open.
They really have, Cole. That was another no-doubter. Unfortunately, runner on base, maybe the potential to get out of the inning a little earlier, but instead this will happen. Breaking ball, hanging a little too much. That's always going to be sent out of the park.
So two long home runs and an error have given the Red Dragons the lead. This a bunt down the third base line, but foul from the leadoff hitter Benassi. Benassi 1 for 1 today. A leadoff double in the first inning, came around to score on the first two-run homer we saw today. Hope nobody's watching that game from the left field area, the sidewalk over there, because you have to watch out for your head.
Yeah, and Bonacci really got things started quickly for the Red Dragons with that double.
Pitch inside, misses to Bonacci, 1-1. Hagen still trying to find himself, hung a breaking ball to the last batter. Marola hit the two-run homer. The 1-1. Low, ball 2.
Got a couple of Tigers warming up in the bullpen. Wonder how much longer Hagen has.
Pitch outside. Now 3-1. We saw Hagen go to the bullpen in between innings after he last exited the field. Looked like he might be working something out, and now Tigers warming up some new arms. Fastball finds the zone, brings the count to 3-2. Bases clear, only one down in the inning. Cortland out hitting Trinity, 4-1 so far. Two of those hits, two-run homers. Pitch finds the zone, strike 3. Third strikeout of the day for Joey Hagen as Bonacci goes down looking.
All right, good bounce back for Hagen. You know, the score now is just, it is what it is. If you're Hagen, get the strikeout, just try to get out of the inning at this point.
Number 2 hitter Lucas Granger up to the plate. Granger 1 for 1, hit a home run the last time he was up. Ball high, 1-0. You wonder how long the leash will be for Joey Hagen. Tigers still have to play 5 games in 6 days, counting this one. Pitch inside. And are they going to award first base in a hit by pitch? Does not look like they're going to. Granger not necessarily appealing either.
I thought I heard the ball hit off of something.
That's what I thought too.
But I guess not. Maybe it went off the umpire a little bit.
The 2-0. Low, ball 3. We'll see on the replay what it hit. And tough to tell anything there. He certainly had to get out of the way. Either way, 3-0. Fastball down the middle, strike 1.
And Cole, these are very important games because this is very similar to a regional situation. Because when you get to the regionals, you're going to be seeing guys that maybe you don't normally see.
Pitch outside, ball 4. Hagen loses them. So Granger has reached base both times he's come up to the plate. We'll bring up the number 3 hitter, Nolan Smith. Smith, the sophomore, walked in his first plate appearance. 297 hitter on the year. Big swing at that first pitch, 0-1. Looks like the Tigers just riding it out with Hagan so far, wanting to get as much length as they possibly can. 2 down in the inning. The 0-1 pitch. Thought about it, but takes a pitch outside, 1-1.
Yeah, and you're right, Cole. They're just looking for Hagan to get out of the inning at this point. And he's just been a disaster for the Tigers.
Ground ball through the gap, past the glove of Coney. Into center field, McDonald will fire in, but not before the lead runner gets to third. Throw gets away, but not enough for Smith to advance to second, puts runners at the corners.
Yep, it's good contact, ground ball. Coney's going for it. Maybe not enough time to lay out for it again. Gets into the outfield. So base runner gets to go an extra base. But either way, there's still 2 outs on the board. They can't sac fly him in.
And pitching coach Dave Smith coming out to the mound, and that will be the day for Joey Hagan, charged with all 5 runs on the board. Recorded 1 full inning of work and 2 outs in this one, and his day is done. Pitching change in San Antonio. We'll be back on Tiger Network. Welcome back to San Antonio. Cortland with the 5-0 lead here on the campus of Trinity University. New pitcher on the mound for the Tigers. It's the senior Zach Balbin, making his first appearance of the year. First pitch from Balbin. Gets away. Runner from third coming in. Slides in safely. And not a good start for Trinity. 6-0 Cortland.
Well, the troubles continue for the Tigers, Cole. And that one there, I mean, Lazaro just didn't have the glove in the right place. Just went off of it.
Will go down as a passed ball. Can only assume.
I'd be shocked if it wasn't.
The run comes in. 4 runs in the second inning for the Red Dragons. 6-0 Cortland. Hit in the air by Shartner. Playable at first for Baker, backs up and makes the catch that ends the inning, but not before the Dragons put up a crooked number. It's 6-0 Cortland. We head to the bottom of the second here in San Antonio. We'll be back on Tiger Network. Welcome back. The bottom of the second inning here on the campus of Trinity University. Brandon Nelson, the designated hitter, set to lead things off. His Tigers in a 6-0 hole. Nelson, a .333 hitter on the year with 10 RBIs. OPS above 1,000. First pitch swinging, fouled off the end of the bat. 0-1. So the Cortland starter, Nick Jessen, working a scoreless first, working around some traffic in that inning, and now has a 6-run lead to work with. Slider misses outside. A good take by Nelson, 1-1. Reed, we referenced it earlier. It was a Cortland team that was coming off a very tough series against one of the best teams in the country, John Hopkins. Nelson rips this to center field. Benassi can't get there. Falls in front of him. And Nelson is aboard with a leadoff single.
Yeah, it was a tough play for Bonacci out in center field. It was one of those, should I lay up for it? Should I let it bounce? Bonacci couldn't make up his mind, and he ended up in an awkward place in between. And those awkward places in between, that's the worst state to be in when you're trying to field a ball.
Trinity third baseman Kai Tinker coming up to the plate. Made the start last night. 294 hitter, the graduate student out of Simi, California. Works with the runner on first. Tinker grounds it to short. Flip to second in time. Throw to first. Got him. Twin killing.
A classic double play, Cole. 6-4-3. And that one served up very nicely. Induced the beautiful ground ball contact. I think that's what Jessen was looking for against Hopkins. Now he's getting it against the Tigers, and he's on a roll.
So all of a sudden, 2 down in the inning for Pierce Matthews, playing in left field today. .250 hitter on the year, the sophomore. Matthews ended the game in left field last night as he came in as a defensive replacement. Starts the game there today. Pitch inside, 1-0. Pierce Matthews has had the unfortunate experience today of seeing 2 balls go over his head already. Strike called, inside edge, brings the count to 2-1. Cortland up 6-0, 2 down, nobody on. Fouled above us on the Bell Center. 1, 2, 3, 4, and it stopped its momentum at the end of the roof. Count now 2-2 to Matthews. Round ball, could be trouble, and no throw made from Jessen. It's an infield single for Pierce Matthews.
Yeah, the contact definitely not the best by Matthews. The ball was breaking and he swung. I think really smart decision by Jessen not to throw it, because at that point, the only thing you're risking is it going past the first baseman and turning into another base mistake.
First year John Ramsey comes up to the plate, playing shortstop today, a .205 hitter on the year. 10 runs scored, 4 RBI. Ramsey fouls it into the screen, 0-1. Think about how different this inning could be without that double play. Tigers have rounded into quite a few double plays recently, it seems. First one today. The 0-1 high, 1-1. Fastball misses from Jessen.
You know, the 2-out rally for the Tigers has proven to be somewhat effective in previous games. They'll try to get something going here, I'm sure.
The 1-1. Swing and a miss, 1-2. Cortland coming off of 3 losses in a row, 2 of them to John Hopkins. Another one to Rutgers Camden. So far, a much better start. Up 6-0 here against the number 7 team in the country. Runner goes, pitch inside. Strike 3 called on Ramsey. Another scoreless frame put up by Nick Jessen. Cortland still up 6-0 here in San Antonio. Stay tuned for the top of the third coming up next. Welcome back to the top of the third here at the Trinity University Ballpark. Zach Balbin back on the mound for the Tigers. Dylan Tierney swing and a miss on the first pitch from Balbin, 0-1. Tierney 0 for 1 today. Struck out looking the last time he was up. The 0-1 pitch. Ground ball, chopper to third. Tinker picks it up, steps and throws in time. One down quickly for Balbin.
A good start, induce that weak contact. That's the kind of pitching that Balbin likes.
Brings up J.J. DeLauder. DeLauder 1 for 1 with a double as he led off the second inning. First pitch skips in the dirt, 1-0. This is Balbin's first appearance of the year, but his most recent appearance came in the NCAA regional that was hosted here against Laverne at the end of last season. Another pitch in the dirt, 2-0. Trinity, a start from Jackson Tier. Got off to a massive lead. I forget exactly what it was, but it was at least 10 runs. And they decided to sit Tier after 3 innings, preserve them for later in that series. Pitch in the dirt, again, 3-0 from Balbin. But Zach Balbin came in the 4th inning and pitched the majority of the rest of the game. The Tigers would win 18-9, but Balbin conserving arms for later in that series. Strike called, 3-1.
And Balbin, I think, getting maybe a little bit of the reverse Matthew Mackey treatment, where Mackey had just gotten instructions to just throw as long as he could and lost to UTD a couple years back. Balbin throwing 111 pitches in that game.
Pitch inside, Balbin loses him, a 1-out walk to DeLauder. You're right, it was exactly the opposite of what Matthew Mackey had to deal with just 2 years prior against UTD, a 32-9 loss, where the Tigers were already up 2-0 in a best-of-5, decided to conserve their arms for Game 4. Zachary Cringdon up to the plate, takes strike 1. Cringdon 0 for 1 today with a strikeout. Works with a runner on first, 1 down in the inning. But Balbin had the opportunity to pitch with a 10-plus run lead in Game 1 of a best-of-5 series. This is hit deeply to right field. And the catch is made by Singhania for out number 2.
Well, I'm sure Balbin is thanking the stars that it's not windy today, because if it was, that ball would have surely been out of here. Thankfully, for now, it's just warning track power.
Brings up Tayon Elkins, the second baseman. Takes ball 1. Elkins 0 for 1 today, but did reach on an E4. Balbin checks on the runner at first to no avail. DeLauder able to get back in time. But the curious thing about that appearance from Zach Balbin in the postseason, he did not get credited with the win, which is a conversation we still periodically have with Garrett Landon, somebody in our SID department. His argument is the most effective relief pitcher that comes in after the starter that will get the win. So he deemed that, I forget exactly who pitched after Balbin in that game, but he deemed that whoever came in to finish that game pitched more effectively, which I think has some merit. Balbin did allow a lot of runs, but he did exactly what the Tigers asked him to do, which was to eat innings, which I believe he pitched 5 in relief. 2-0 pitch in for strike 1.
And that's what the Tigers are looking for. I would argue that does make him the most effective pitcher. I know Boki got the win at the end, came in that last inning to shut down the Leopards.
Lined and caught by Ramsey. John Ramsey at short ends the inning. Good contact, but can't get past the first year at shortstop. It ends the inning, still 6-0. Cortland has the lead as we head to the bottom of the third in San Antonio. Welcome back to the bottom of the third inning here in San Antonio. Callan Singhania, the sophomore, set to lead things off for the Tigers, who find themselves in a 6-0 hole early in this one. Singhania, the leadoff hitter for the Tigers, 1 for 1 with a base hit. Takes a pitch away, brings the count to 1-0. Nick Jessen back on the mound for the Red Dragons. Very effective so far, 2 scoreless innings. Pitch inside, gets away, 2-0.
If the Tigers want to come back in this one, Cole, I would think maybe get some small ball going. If he can't give you a strike, don't swing the bat.
Singhania hits it in the air, but drifting foul, and it is.
Singhania had that leadoff single to start things off.
Pitch high, 3-1. Ball 4, and Singhania has reached for the second time today.
A good job from Singhania. Leadoff, he's been very effective. Good job.
Maddox McDonald now coming up to the plate. Walked in his first plate appearance. We referenced it earlier. Caleb Woodward, the usual leadoff hitter for the Tigers, getting the night off, but Singhania filling in admirably. It's done exactly what a leadoff hitter is supposed to do, a single and then a walk. Pitch outside to McDonald, 1-0. So a similar start to how the bottom of the first started for Trinity. Singhania reached on a base hit in that inning, and McDonald walked. Tigers did nothing with it, scoring no runs. The 1-0 to McDonald. Finds the zone. Strike called.
I wonder if it continues the way it did start in the bottom of the first, if we get another mound visit, another pep talk.
1-1. Outside, close call, but no dice. 2-1 pitch coming up. Saw it on your screen. McDonald, a .379 hitter. He's having quite the season. Trying to get the Tigers back in this game. They try and get Singhania napping at first to no avail. Able to dive back safely. Ball high, 3-1. And you wonder if Coach Joe Brown wants to have another talk with Jessen about command. It seemed to work the first time after he faced these two particular hitters. Behind 3-1 on McDonald. Pitch inside, but a strike called. Close pitch, gets the call that time for Jessen. Brings the count full.
I think that was a good location for Jessen to go to. It's the hardest part for a batter to see.
Inside edge, strike 3 called. McDonald can't believe it, but he'll take the first out with them back to the dugout.
It's going to be a tough pill to swallow for Maddox McDonald. I know, good strikeout from Jessen. Location, sure was good.
So Jessen fell behind McDonald 3-1, but 2 good pitches on the inside edge. Gets the punch out looking. Now faces Nick Lazaro, 0 for 1 with a strikeout swinging. Takes a fastball high, ball 1. Lazaro working with Singhania on first. Facing Jessen, who's already struck him out once and struck out 5 Tigers in total tonight. Fouled sharply back into the screen, brings the count to 1 apiece.
And the worst things that the Tigers might have done is let Jessen get on a roll. Very momentum-based.
The 1-1. It's sky high. Tough sky. First baseman has it and makes the catch in the webbing of his glove. Good play by Smith in foul territory.
Yeah, it was going to be a tough play either way. But even if it dropped fair, I think they would have gotten a good end of the bargain. It was pretty close to going back fair, but Singhania was just standing at first.
So it brings up the cleanup hitter, Will Baker, 0 for 1. Struck out swinging the last time he was up. Pitch in the dirt at 71 miles per hour, 1-0. So Singhania reached as the leadoff man for the second time tonight, but in danger of being left stranded once again. 2 down in the inning. Strike called, top of the zone, 1 apiece. The 1-1. Good pitch, no call there. Brings the count to 2-1.
Jessen just completely at the advantage right now. He's rolling, and especially with 2 outs on the board.
Pitch misses outside. Singhania has to walk back to first. He has not tried to run yet. We'll see if he gets sent at any point in this at-bat. Baker ahead, and the hitters count 3-1. Trinity looking for anything offensively. There hasn't been much so far. Outside, ball 4. And another walk in this inning, handed out by Nick Jessen.
Well, it's certainly not as bad of a situation as it was back in the first, where there were 2 on with no outs. But never underestimate the 2-out rally, Cole. Anything can happen in Division III baseball.
Calcone up to the plate. 0 for 1 today, struck out looking in the first. First pitch inside, 1-0. Coney also charged with an error so far tonight, resulted in a Cortland run. Trying to make up for it a little bit with the bat. 1-0, inside, and it hits him. Oh, there are 7 ways to get on base. That's probably the most painful one, but Coney will take it. Bases filled with Tigers.
I think he might have shoe-shined Coney. See on the replay. Yeah, right off the shoe.
Now Coach Brown to go out and have a conversation with his starter and the rest of his infield. Worked last time. We'll see if it works with the bases loaded and 2 outs. It'll be a lefty-lefty matchup for Jessen. Brandon Nelson, the designated hitter, due up for Trinity. But Reed, you get the opportunity that if the Tigers are going to get back into this game, it has to happen with this at-bat.
And you know what? There's no better bat to do it than Brandon Nelson, Cole. He's certainly got the pop in the bat. I wonder how long Jessen has. I saw some pitchers go over to the Cortland bullpen. Of course, we can't really see it, so I just saw movement.
Excellent reporting from Reed Rosales. Has a better angle on the Cortland bullpen than I do. Brandon Nelson steps into the box, 1 for 1 with a base hit. Nelson lines it to center field, and the catch is made. So Jessen gets out of the jam with 1 pitch. Bonacci there to make the catch, and the Tigers leave the bases loaded. So far, a good start for Nick Jessen as we head to the top of the 4th here in San Antonio. Cortland coming up to bat when we come back. Welcome back to the Trinity University ballpark, where the number 24 ranked Cortland Red Dragons lead the number 7 ranked Trinity Tigers 6-0 here in game 1. Swing and a miss from the shortstop, Nick Marola. 1 for 1 today. He hit a solo home run off Tigers starting pitcher tonight, Joey Hagan. The 0-1, grounded on a couple of hops to Ramsey. Throw in time, and there's one down quickly in the 4th.
Yeah, Balvin's been impressive with his stuff right now. Man, he's gotten a lot of weak contact on that pitch. You know, we'll see how long he can keep it rolling.
Brings up the top of the order. Chris Bonacci now up. Takes a pitch away, ball 1. Bonacci 1 for 2 today. He's doubled and he's also struck out looking. High strike called, 1-1. I apologize to the Bonacci family for pronouncing your son's name wrong a few times. It was not spelled phonetically in my notes. I've changed the second C to an H, so now I know to always pronounce it Chi instead of C. Ready to go now.
Cole, and Cole's never been to Italy, so.
Ball high, 3-1. I do have Italian heritage in my family, so I should know better. I have some ties to upstate New York. Pitch from Balvin inside. Ball 4 as Bonacci heads to first base.
Yeah, it was a very nice walk to first. You can't get any better than that. And Balvin just kind of lost him there. Try and bounce back. I mean, with the ground balls he's been inducing, a double play definitely on the table for the Tigers.
One down in the inning. Lucas Granger up, takes a strike. Balvin's been effective so far. Trying to continue his role. Pitch gets away. And Bonacci heads to second with ease. A runner in scoring position for Cortland, trying to add the extra point.
Yeah, it's the second pitch that Lazares kind of had trouble corralling in. It's kind of just the thing that happens when you have a pitcher like Balvin, has as much spin on the ball as he does.
One's on the board. 1 strike, 1 ball, 1 out. Runner on second. Pitch in the dirt again. Lazara does a good job of blocking it this time. Brings the count to 2-1. Weather cooling down here in San Antonio. Don't know exactly what it is now, but very pleasant here on the roof of CalGuard Gym. We started at 87 degrees and sunny. And we've only gone down since first pitch. 7 p.m. Central Time. This one fouled onto the roof of the Bell Center. How many hops? 1, 2, 3, 4. Very weak hopping foul ball. Count now 2-2. First game of a 4-game series between these two D3 heavyweights over the past 20 years. This is hit very far into left field, but drifting foul. That would have been long gone if it had been a few feet to the right.
Yeah, Cole kind of lost it in the night. That's how high it went. That's how gone it was. I think Balvin, sigh of relief that it went foul.
Lucas Granger, who's already hit 1 2-run homer today, going for his second, just a little ahead of it. 2-2. Big swing, but a foul ball third base way. Count still at 2-2.
And you know, Cortland being up in New York, you can see the ball. It leaves your screen, the top left corner, and it's not going to make another appearance, folks. It was hurt, that baseball.
2-2 pitch from Balvin. Catches the top of the zone. Strike 3 called. First strikeout of the outing for Zach Balbin, 2 down in the inning.
You'll see on the replay, ball breaks down just low enough, kind of right at the letters to just catch the zone for the strikeout. Great pitch by Balbin.
2 down in the inning, and Nolan Smith up, the first baseman, 1 for 1. He singled and walked in this game, reached both times. He's going to come up to the plate. Fouled off. It's 0-1. Bonacci waiting patiently on second base. 1 out walk and advanced on a wild pitch. Fouled off into the screen above the Tigers dugout on the third base side. Top of the fourth, Cortland with the 6-0 lead, 2 down in the inning. Runner on second, the 0-2 count. Swing and a miss, strike 3. And Balbin works another scoreless inning for Trinity. Trying to keep his team in this game, but they need runs. It's 6-0 Cortland in game 1. Welcome back to the bottom of the fourth here on the campus of Trinity University in the Alamo City. Trinity Tower gleaming in the distance, but you see the Tigers' upcoming schedule. We hope that you tune in for the remaining 3 games of this series coming up Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Friday, a 7 p.m. first pitch, Saturday, a 2 p.m. first pitch, and Sunday at noon, all times in Central Time. Tigers will then be home to UMHB March 18th. That's a Tuesday, and then the following Wednesday against Hardin-Simmons. All of those games will be broadcasted live on YouTube on the Tiger Network. Kai Tinker will lead things off for the Tigers, the number 7 hitter, the third baseman for Trinity. Tinker 0 for 1 today, a .286 hitter on the year, OPS still above 900. Tinker grounded out to a 6-4-3 double play.
Looks like we're going to get a time violation on both sides. I think we're starting with a 1-1 count.
And Coach Joe Brown coming out to see what's up, as is Coach Tim Scannell. I was wondering why we weren't coming up to the plate. That break seemed to take a little longer than usual. Now we know why. We're going to start with a 1-1 count. And Coach Scannell not happy with that call, as both coaches will have a meeting with the home plate umpire. And Coach Scannell has been assessed a warning. Getting some applause from his home crowd. And now his dugout, they're a little bit fired up now.
Yeah, Coach Scannell, I think, has a very valid point. There's no visible clock for the pitch clock here at the field. And saying nobody heard that we were running out of time. So I think a very valid point.
Will be a 1-1 count to start. Time violations called on both sides. And right, a good point from Coach Scannell. I don't know how much of the audio people could hear at home. We were quiet just in case. But Coach Scannell very audibly saying that there's no clock here. We have no way of knowing. You have to use your voice. So a 1-1 count to Tinker. Takes a pitch outside, and after Coach Scannell raising some objections, some more fire from his dugout. Been very quiet most of the game, being down 6-0 for a large portion. Tinker fouls that into the screen. It's 2-2.
Yeah, I thought for a moment, Scannell was getting very fired up. I thought maybe at risk at having to leave the ballpark maybe a little early, but thankfully just a warning.
Pitch outside, 3-2, full count in 3 pitches. I thought he was walking that line a little bit. I was concerned for him. Pitch inside, ball 4, and some cheers coming from the Tigers dugout. Very unusual 3-pitch walk will send Tinker to first.
Very unusual indeed, Cole. And, both sides were complaining about not getting the proper timing known to them. But, Coach Scannell much more vocal about that complaint.
So Tinker on first. Pierce Matthews in the batter's box. Takes ball 1 high. Matthews playing in left field today. 1 for 1 with a base hit. One of 3 hits the Tigers have today. It was an infield single with an exit velocity of about 20 miles per hour, you'd assume. Matthews hits this sky high into the San Antonio night. Calling and making the catch is one of the Cortland Dragons. They all kind of went behind each other. Tough to tell who exactly that was. Looks like the second baseman, Elkins.
Good conversation between all of them there, though. That could have easily been a disaster if they ran into each other and just allowed a runner to get on with a very silly mistake. But thankfully, didn't happen.
9-hole hitter John Ramsey now comes up. Pitch inside. Ramsey 0 for 1 today, struck out in his only at bat. Tinker waits on first, 1 down in the inning. Pitch inside. Ball 1. Check that ball 2, 2-0 to Ramsey. Fouled off by Ramsey into the Cortland bullpen. Brings the count to 2-1. Bottom of the order, trying to get something going for Trinity, and that's where some of the productions come. Nelson at the 6th spot with a base hit today, and Pierce Matthews, the 8 hitter with a base hit. Ramsey, the 9 hitter, trying to come up big for Trinity. Off the hands and right to Jensen, throw to first, in time, and it's a double play. So this double play ends the inning. Jensen alertly throws to first and catches Tinker on the line out. So Cortland showing off defensively as well. They lead this game 6-0 as we head to the top of the 5th. We'll be back on Tiger Network. Welcome back. The top of the 5th inning in San Antonio. Luke Shartner set to lead things off, facing Zach Balbin, who's back out for his 3rd inning of work. Shartner thought about it, but takes a pitch outside, ball 1. Weird end to the last inning. John Ramsey in L1. Lined out to the pitcher. This is a chopper to Tinker. Picks it up, makes a step, and fires. Good scoop by Will Baker to record the first out.
Yeah, good throw across the diamond by Kai Tinker. It's the toughest infield throw to make, going across all the way to first base, but made it nice. Baker able to pick it.
Dylan Tierney 0 for 2 today. Struck out and grounded out. Called strike 0-1. Balbin's done a good job generating contact, ground balls, and so far has not yielded a run. Pitch misses low, 1-1. Sun has completely set here in San Antonio, and the moon is out in full force, a almost golden hue to a full moon. Pitch fouled off onto the roof of the Bell Center. And I've just been informed that there will be a lunar eclipse tonight. So, interesting space fact. Swing and a miss. And Shartner strikes out. First 2 batters retired by Zach Balbin.
Great job by Zach Balbin. Always love to see him do well. Yeah, got him chasing on a high pitch. Went through a history of American business and capitalism together last semester. Great guy.
Correction, that was Tierney that struck out, the 3rd baseman. Now J.J. DeLauder comes up to the plate. Takes a pitch high, ball 1. One-0. Finds the zone. Strike called. How was that class with Zach Balbin?
He's very smart, counting major, so our final presentation.
This is hit in the air to shallow left. Matthews charging in, won't make the catch, gets behind him. DeLauder will stop at first base as that ball found its way in between 3 Trinity Tigers.
Yeah, it's hit high, and I was wondering whether Ramsey or Pierce Matthews was going to get it. Neither of them got it. Ended up almost running into each other. That was a dangerous situation. You know, just Bermuda Triangle moment.
Catcher Cringdon will come up to the plate. Reed, I think they were wondering the same thing based on what ended up happening. Fastball finds the zone for Balbin, strike 1. Zachary Cringdon 0 for 2 today. And struck out and flown out to right. Now working with a runner on first, ball high from Balbin, 1-1. So what was your final presentation?
It was accounting standards. We did a presentation on accounting standards, and he brought a lot of great insight to that presentation. I learned a lot about accounting, maybe more than I had anticipated on learning, but very, very smart guy.
Today he's been a very good pitcher. So far has not yielded a run. Pitch misses high, 2-1. Working with DeLauder on first base, who has found his way on all 3 times he's been up to the plate. A double, a walk, and a single. Pitch outside, ball 3. 3-1 count, 2 down in the inning. Ball high, and he loses him. A 2-out walk, and back-to-back base runners will reach for Cortland.
Yeah, a little bit of a struggle of location for Zach Balbin as the Red Dragons are able to cook the books a little bit, get a runner on. Now opportunity for them to score again.
Approaching the bottom of the order, Tan Elkins up to the plate. 0 for 2 today. Reached on an error and lined out to short. Pitch in the dirt, but Lazara does a good job of blocking it. Count is 1-0. Elkins has had an interesting day. A not so well hit ball, an error A throwing error by Calcone. Doesn't reach. And a well-hit ball that was snagged by John Ramsey. Coach Dave Smith coming out to the mound, and it looks like that will be the day for Balbin. The second pitching change here for Trinity. Cortland still up 6-0, top of the fifth. New arm coming on to the Tigers. Welcome back to the Alamo City. A new pitcher in for Trinity. It's Noah Flanagan. He's pitched 1 inning, given up 1 run. The math works out to an ERA of an even 9. So he'll face Elkins, the second baseman. Pitch high and outside, ball 1. Flanagan coming into his second appearance in an interesting situation. Runners on first and second. Zach Balbin, the pitcher who exited, responsible for both of those runs. Flanagan trying to do him a solid and keep them from scoring. Pitch finds the zone, strike 1.
I think it's a good opportunity with the score, what it is. Just putting guys that need to see really tough competition. It's a great time to do so. You know, maybe you'll go back to them later on in the season.
The 2-1 from Flanagan. In the dirt, 3-1. As you saw on his lineup card that we put up on the broadcast, Flanagan from Norman, Oklahoma, so we know which side he falls on the Red River rivalry. Probably an unpopular opinion for those watching on this stream. Austin just an hour and a half north from San Antonio. 3-1 pitch finds the zone, brings the count full.
It's always interesting when we get people out of state coming here to Trinity on the team. People from everywhere on our athletics teams.
3-2 pitch. Fouled off and hits pole of some kind, made a loud doing.
Good noise.
There's a doink and there's a ding, and I think that was a doing.
Yeah, I would agree, Cole.
So we'll do the 3-2 pitch again. Runners on first and second. Cortland up 6-0 in this one, the top of the fifth. Flanagan trying to end the inning, get us to the halfway point. High, ball 4, and the bases are filled with Red Dragons.
Yeah, just lost him at the end. I think the ball came out of the hand just a bit too early. Misses high. But you know, you have a force out at every base now. So if any weak contact in the infield one would think would get you out of the inning.
This is D3 baseball, Reed. You never know. Nick Marola up to the plate, the 9-hole hitter. 1 for 2 today, but that one, a 2-run homer in the left field. Comes in with the bases loaded. Pitch inside, too far, and it hits him. So chalk that up as a free RBI for the shortstop and a 7-0 lead for Cortland.
I bet an anticlimactic way to score. First pitch, doink. There's not much to analyze there, Cole.
Shrugged it off nicely, gives the shrugging shoulders sign to his dugout. As Cortland now up 7-0, top of the order. Chris Bonacci fouls it off into the screen above the Trinity dugout. Reed, you referenced how many places people are from the Trinity athletics team, just across the entire school. Not so much the case at SUNY Cortland. I believe they only have 3 players from outside the state of New York. Pitch outside, ball 1 from Flanagan. Which makes sense, it's a state school. It's financially prudent that a lot of people would be from New York. I know that's a decision that I would consider making if I were in that position. This is lined into left field, and it's a base hit that's going to get all the way to the wall. 1 run scores, another one coming in. A 2 RBI double for Chris Bonacci, and it's 9-0 Dragons.
Well, Cole, this game was already out of hand coming into this, but now it is especially out of hand. Yeah, rough start for Flanagan. Yeah, all kudos to the Red Dragons. They're doing what they're supposed to be doing. They're seeing pitches that they should hit well, and they're hitting them well.
And that will be the night for Noah Flanagan. Does not record an out. The 2 runs that come in to score will be charged to Zach Balbin, and it is 9-0 Red Dragons. A pitching change in San Antonio for the 2nd time in this inning. We'll be back on Tiger Network. Welcome back to San Antonio. Still the top of the 5th. Cortland has managed to score 3 runs in this frame, and they'll face their 3rd pitcher of the inning, John McGowan. Made 1 appearance, only recorded 1 out, ERA above 54. An opportunity to lower that in this outing. As he faces the number 2 hitter, Lucas Granger. 1 for 2, 1, a home run. Granger takes a strike. Opportunity to add on for Cortland. Runners at 1st and 3rd. Slider just misses. As I'm sure you've noticed by now, McGowan a sidearm. Shepard Tyler was the resident sidearm last year. He's since transitioned to throwing the ball normally, and now McGowan replaces him. 1-2. Swing and a miss. Nice pitch from McGowan.
Nice pitch. You know, Cortland's had a lot of success. More than just baseball. You know, last year they won the national championship for football. One of the best Stag Bowls ever played against themselves and North Central came away with maybe the biggest upset I've ever seen.
The 1-2. Ground ball to Coney at second, but it hits his glove. The second error committed by Cal Coney at second base, and it results in another run. The fourth run of the inning for Cortland, and it's 10-0 Red Dragons.
Oh man, the day couldn't get any rougher for poor Cal Coney over at second base. Then that's the bad cherry on top. Again, just off the glove, muffed the play. Unfortunate, but at this point, score is what it is.
Ground ball down the third base line, a foul ball. Home plate umpire making the call. That would have been trouble if it was fair off the bat of Nolan Smith. 1 for 2 today, 308 average on the season. Smith has singled, walked, and struck out the last time he was up. Trinity trying to get out of this inning that has gotten out of hand very quickly. All of this damage coming with 2 outs on the board. McGowan in a 1-1 count. Checks on the runner at first to no avail. Smith coming up means that every single Cortland Red Dragon has come up to bat in this inning. And should Smith get on, my scorecard could be in some trouble. Finds the zone, 1-2.
Cole, everyone coming up to bat. Red Dragons, they are using their breath weapon effectively right now, blowing fire.
The 1-2. Outside. McGowan frustrated, walks back to the mound. Runners at the corners. Good take from Smith. Count is full with 2 outs.
It's very interesting. Smith is really up on the plate with his batting stance, nearly on top of it.
Bonacci at third, Ranger at first. 3-2. Fouled off, we'll do it again.
Just trying to get out of the inning at this point. Maybe the Tigers trying to get out of the game. 10-0. It's a tall task to come back from that, Cole.
You could say that, indeed. 3-2 from McGowan. Runner goes. Fouled off into the batting cages in left field once again. 3-2 again. Trajan Lee bringing out a new supply of baseballs to the home plate umpire. Trinity trying to find a way out of this inning. Ground ball, Coney fields it cleanly this time, throw to first in time. And that ends the inning, but the damage has been done for the second time in this game. Cortland scores 4 in a frame. They lead it 10-0 in game 1 of this 4-game series. They'll be back on the Trinity Tiger Network. We're halfway through this one in San Antonio. Welcome back to San Antonio. New pitcher on the mound for Cortland. It's Matthew Nakowitz. As Nick Jessen's day is done, he works 4 scoreless innings and exits this one. Cortland will put things in the hands of their bullpen. Strike called on Kellen Singhania. Singhania 1 for 1 today, has singled and walked. He leads off the top of the 5th. Pitch outside, 1-1. And Reed, this is eerily similar to the last time Trinity welcomed another top 25 opponent into their ballpark. Pitch outside, 2-1. Last year, the Tigers, in their second series of the year, played the University of Wisconsin Whitewater in a top 25 battle. And Whitewater handled them in the first 2 games, scoring a combined 34 runs. Swing and a miss from Singhania, 2-2. The Tigers would then win the next 2 games somehow and get out of there with a split, despite being outscored by what felt like a million watching all 4 games in person.
It's the beautiful thing about baseball.
Lined and fouled off into the screen, 2-2.
It took the effort of a Jackson Tier 20 strikeout game to win that last one. That's the thing that no one else is going to see again.
Looped in the air to right, and the catch is made by Granger, out number 1.
Yeah, the past couple of top 25 opponents to come in here at Trinity have given them some good tests. That is to be certain, Cole. Whitewater, that was first 2 games a little rough to watch, but second 2 games, third game was exciting.
Maddox McDonald now up with 1 out, takes strike 1. McDonald 0 for 1 today. He's walked and struck out looking. So that's got to be the optimistic part if you're a Trinity Tiger fan watching this game right now, as you've been here before. That's one thing that the Tigers do and have done so far this year, is they somewhat backload their arms so that it's usually not ace versus ace. It's ace versus number 3 starter. Swing and a miss from McDonald at a breaking ball, 1-2. And that's exactly how it was last year. Their best pitcher, Jackson Tier, started on Sunday and made an offense that scored 34 runs in 2 games look kind of foolish at times, striking out 20. The 1-2. Swing and a miss. Same pitch, same result. And McDonald strikes out for the 2nd time today. 2 outs on the board.
Yeah, that breaking ball really tricked Maddox McDonald. And wipe another Tiger bat off the board. Just really good stuff right now.
Nick Lazara up to the plate. 0 for 2 today. Struck out the first time he was up, popped out the 2nd time. Pitch outside, ball 1. Lazara is switch hitter, batting from his left-handed side. Was facing the left-handed Jessen. Now facing the right-hander. Switch sides of the plate. Takes a pitch outside, 2-0. Lazara more comfortable from his left-handed side. That's where he prefers to bat, but matchup will dictate where he goes, and it was the right-handed side of the plate for the first 2 at-bats in this one. Skips foul, 2-1.
And Cole, you mentioned one of those games for the 4-game series. That's what's weird about 4-game series, that you're not throwing, you don't have in college baseball a 4-starter rotation. You have a 3-starter rotation. So one of these games is going to end up being a guy who doesn't usually see time.
Lazara slices that foul under the roof of the batting cage in left field.
And especially with how many games the Tigers have been playing recently, that was kind of exponentially true coming into this one.
And it looks like home plate umpire just needed a few more baseballs. Still a 2-2 count. Two down in the inning. Cortland up 10-0. Outside brings the count full.
Cole, if they need some more baseballs, maybe we can rain some down from the roof.
Oh, there are plenty. I know they have people do that every now and then. Say at least 5 every game find their way up here. The 3-2 fouled off the end of the bat of Lazera. Will do it again.
Even in that UTD regional that we mentioned for my freshman year, 4 years ago now. Remember, they lost one of those games 9-32. All those games were long as well. They won game 4. That game was 4.5 hours.
3-2 pitch. Lazera hangs it into left, and the catch is made by Charter. That ends the inning. Still no runs on the board for the Tigers. End of the 5th. We'll head to the top of the 6th. Cortland up to bat once again. They have a nice lead here in San Antonio. Welcome back to the top of the 6th inning on the campus of Trinity University. McGowan back on the mound for the Tigers. He faces Luke Shartner, whose catch ended the prior inning. First pitch, inside, ball 1. It's an interesting schedule for Cortland last week, particularly yesterday. They left Cortland, their campus, at about 2:30 a.m. yesterday. Flew out of Rochester, got a connection in Baltimore, and eventually landed in San Antonio at around noon. Pitch from McGowan lands for strike 1. Then they had nothing to do for the rest of the day. I assume they slept. I know that's what I would do in that situation. They came to the Trinity University ballpark last night, caught some of the game against DeSales. It's fouled on to the roof of the Bell Center. Takes a long hop and out of vision now. Count is now 1-2. Catch some of the game against DeSales, and then they immediately start practice on this field right after that game ends. Talked to Coach Brown about that, and he said they were just eager to get out of the hotel room. They had nothing to do all day. But I'll tell you, they don't look like a team that got up at 2:30 in the morning yesterday. They look energized, and they're up 10-0 on the number 7 team in the country.
Yeah, right now they're kind of beating the Tigers in every facet of the game, I'd say. Batting, pitching, and energy. That Cortland Red Dragon dugout has had all the energy in the world. And they're playing like a team that has taken a 5-hour energy drink.
Slider misses away, count even at 2 apiece. It was a Cortland team that was lacking energy coming into this game, losers of 3 in a row. Lost 2 in blowout fashion to Johns Hopkins, who's one of the best teams in the country. That pitch misses all the way to the backstop, brings the count to 3-2.
Johns Hopkins definitely one of the favorites to win the College World Series this year in Division III. Now they're sitting at number 3 right now.
See on the replay, that was a slider that did not slide. Count at 3-2 for McGowan. Nobody out, nobody on. Grounded foul down the third base line. Defensive substitutions in for Trinity. That's Grant Anderson, who takes over at third base for Kai Tinker. Jack Henning in at first base for Will Baker. 3-2 pitch. Inside. Ball 4, might have hit him. Either way, awarded first base.
Yeah, just taking that one, head to first base. It's a Cortland team that's been really battle-tested, Cole. You know, Johns Hopkins, they are the team in the Centennial Conference. They're very likely to win it again and go on a deep run, host to regional.
Dylan Tierney up to bat. Grounds one foul. Tierney 0 for 3 today. He struck out twice. Shartner reached by a hit by pitch. He's on first base. I got to talk to Coach Joe Brown about that series against Johns Hopkins, and he said that wasn't the disappointing part of that weekend. That, you know, you don't want to lose that game, especially in the way that they did, but there's really no shame in it. It was their effort against Rutgers Camden the next day that gave him some concern, because he expected a much better performance coming off of a couple of bad losses to Hopkins. Ground ball through the hole, and it's into left field for a base hit, the first hit of the day for Tierney. Runners on first and second. But a much better bounce back effort today, as you can see. That is the 8th hit of the day for Cortland. They already have 10 runs on the board.
Yeah, you know, that Rutgers Camden team out of the NJAC, they're looking to be pretty good as well. I mean, they've only dropped one game this year, so definitely not a bad loss to take. But still, I can see where he's coming from. You get punched in the face twice by Johns Hopkins. You're hoping for a little more fight back in your next opponent. You know, sometimes you just lose a couple games. It's very easy to do in baseball.
J.J. DeLauder up for the Red Dragons. 2 for 2 today. He has a double, a single. He's also walked. Swing and a miss, foul tip into the glove of the new catcher, Matt McNaney, another defensive substitution for Trinity, as there's quite a few. We'll double check what the outfield looks like, and it has changed. Evan Kuhl now in at center field, replacing Maddox McDonald, so quite a few replacements. Ground ball to Coney. This could be 2. Ramsey to first in time. And the Tigers turn a double play, 2 down in the inning.
Yeah, count some of those defensive substitutions. Seeing action there. You know, throw the Ramsey over to first base. It's Henning over at first base now instead of Will Baker. So yeah, a lot of interesting changes.
Gotta love that for Cal Coney. 2 errors charged to him today, and makes a nice play there. A routine double play, but hopefully for Tigers fans, a little bit of a confidence builder for him.
You know, some of the other teams that this Cortland team has gone up against, Shenandoah, they're a really good team out of the ODAC. They got a really convincing win against them. Wittenberg out of the NCAC, that's a good team. They shut them out. They beat Immaculata, which is the only team that's really good out of the AEC. Just a lot of good teams that they've taken down this year.
Pinch hitter in for Cortland, Ethan Gallo. Takes a ball low. 2 down, runner on third is Granger. McGowan still on the mound for the Tigers. The 1-0 pitch. Outside ball 2, but you're right, Cortland extremely battle tested. And so is Trinity to a degree, partly because of this series, both coaches valuing strong competition. That's another thing Coach Joe Brown talked to me about, was you could just schedule a bunch of random teams and get your win total up, but it's more valuable for your team to experience what a 4-game intense series is against a ranked opponent.
Yeah, and they really got that at the D3 showcase. They played Marietta, one of the favorites in the OAC next to Mount Union to win that conference. Lynchburg, that's another ODAC team that is always nationally ranked. Christopher Newport, coast-to-coast team.
Pitch outside, 3-1.
And then you got Denison. I believe they're also NCAC, same with Wittenberg. Yeah, just really really powerhouse schools at that showcase. They were set to play Salisbury before that. That got canceled by weather. That's another really good coast-to-coast team.
Pitch misses, ball 4, and Gallo will walk. Elkins now due up once again as McNaney steps out for a second, communicating something to his infield, it looks like. Runners at the corners, 2 down in the inning. Trinity in the past also valuing a tough schedule. Tougher to do that now with 30 conference games, so many conference opponents that they have to squeeze in somehow. The past teams like Babson, Wisconsin Whitewater, now Cortland this year have come in and played series. Babson currently ranked in the top 25. That's good to see. Gotten to see a couple of their players and coaches over the past few years as they come in pretty routinely. 1-0 pitch as McGowan checks on the runner at first, back safely as Gallo.
Definitely tougher this year. Next year it'll be a bit easier, less teams in the SAA than there are in the SCAC, which is kind of overloaded right now.
Pitch misses outside, 2-0.
It's very interesting. The conference didn't decide to change up the format for series against opponents now that we have so many teams. So it's saying, nope, we're going to play 30 conference games. We're going to enjoy it.
McGowan checks on Gallo again, who slides back safely. It's an unusual schedule for people who aren't Trinity Tigers fans who weren't watching these games all year. Trinity opened up with Austin College in SCAC play, something that usually never happens. Tigers usually getting 2 or 3 series of non-conference play in before they see their first SCAC opponent. Didn't play a non-conference game until I believe the 11th game of the year. Potentially the 13th. .3-0 pitch from McGowan. Outside, ball 4. And that will load the bases with 2 outs. The SCAC is overloaded, as you mentioned, but we'll get into that a little bit later as there is a pitching change here in San Antonio. That'll be the day for John McGowan. Gets the double play, but can't get the 3rd out. His day is done. The bases are still loaded for Cortland. 10-0, Red Dragons have the lead. Welcome back to the Alamo City. A new pitcher in for the Tigers comes in with the bases loaded. It's Wes Hellings out of Summit, New Jersey, the sophomore right-handed pitcher and the younger brother of Will Hellings. So yes, there is a relation if that name did seem familiar. Will Hellings finishing out the game against Nichols on Tuesday night. He's had a day off since then, and we would expect to see him at some point in this 4-game series. But for now, his younger brother Wes will take over, facing the bottom of this lineup in Nick Marola. Excuse me, there's a pinch hitter, Danny Jackson, now into the game. Hellings misses with ball 1. Brings the count to 1-0.
Yeah, Wes Hellings has had a couple of saves attributed to him mistakenly. Him and his brother, very similar on the stat sheets. W. Hellings. He's been doing very well for a guy who hasn't pitched yet.
The 1-0. Strike called. Yeah, that's going to be nice to have all those nice statistics attributed to you without doing any work. It's almost like a goalie who hasn't played. Goals allowed average of 0. But now trying to put in the work and get the Tigers out of a bases loaded jam. 1-1. Ground ball, chopper to second. Coney throws in time. And he gets the only batter he faces out. Hellings gets the Tigers out of a bases loaded jam. Cortland still has the 10-0 lead as we head to the bottom of the 6th. Stay tuned. Trinity and Cortland. Welcome back to the campus of Trinity University. New pitcher in for the Red Dragons. It's Tommy Lynch. Lynch with a 2.45 ERA, 6 strikeouts, only 1 walk allowed. A nice ratio there. Pitched 3 1/3 innings. He'll face Jack Henning. Took over for Will Baker at first base. Henning, who made an appearance a couple of nights ago, takes strike 1. These two programs meeting this year. Strike called 0-2. Two very historic D3 programs, two that set the standard for what you want a Division III program to look like, particularly in Cortland's case, who have appeared in the Division III College World Series 15 times. Pitch just misses.
And they'll look to get there again, Cole. Last year, they weren't SUNY champions. They got upended by their rival, SUNY New Paltz. But again, they're a favorite to win their conference.
This is hit in the air by Henning. The call and the catch made by Smith at first. 1 down.
Yeah, as simple as it gets. Good pitch to right in on the hands a little bit. Force that bad contact.
Cal Coney now steps into the batter's box. Coney 0 for 1 today. He struck out. He also got hit by a pitch in his last at-bat. Pitch inside, ball 1 from Lynch. You referenced it. Cortland does control the SUNY Conference, 36 conference titles. Coney lifts that into right field, and the catch is made for out number 2. But couldn't win the title last year, upended unexpectedly. We talk about the run of dominance they have in that conference. Cortland won 23 conference titles in 26 seasons from 1991 to 2016. Though that's slowed down a little bit. They won back-to-back titles in 2021 and 2022, but haven't been on top of the SUNY Mountains since. Pitch to Brandon Nelson, called for a strike.
Yeah, and in the SUNY, it's kind of been New Paltz versus Cortland in almost every sport. You know, that was the conference championship for both the men's and women's basketball tournaments. New Paltz versus Cortland. I think they split between the two of them.
Pitch outside, 2-1 to Nelson. Pitch outside again, 3-1 now to Nelson with 2 down in the inning. Lynch trying to work a scoreless frame as all of his other counterparts have. Cortland leading 10-0. Nelson rips this into center field. It's carrying back at the warning track, back at the wall, and it's gone. Brandon Nelson leaves the yard for the 2nd time this year, and the Tigers are on the board in the 6th.
Well, Cole, it's a good thing that the Tigers can prevent the shutout. He brings some momentum with them into the next game. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. And, you know, I'm not saying anything. We've seen weirder things happen at this field. But, you know, obviously, we've said it a couple times. It's Division III baseball, Cole. Anything can happen.
Grant Anderson now steps up to the plate for Trinity. Placing Kai Tinker at third base in that last frame. It's up with 2 down, now in a 10-1 ball game. Trinity finally finding the scoreboard. Solo homer, wasn't wind aided at all. No wind to speak of so far. Knock on wood, at least for us in this press boxless setup that we have. Very, very affected by wind when it comes. The 1-0 pitch to Anderson. Big swing and a miss. Brings the count to 1 apiece.
I don't know, Cole. Maybe the tent was the lucky charm.
I mean, you gotta think about it. Grounded sharply to third. Throw across the diamond in time, and it ends the inning. But Brandon Nelson gets his 2nd home run of the season. You see a replay of it on your screen now, or maybe not. Wrong pitch. Either way, it's 10-1. Cortland with the lead in San Antonio. We'll head to the top of the 7th. Welcome back. Top of the 7th here in San Antonio. Wes Hellings back on the mound as he faces Chris Bonacci. Count now 0-1 to Bonacci, the leadoff hitter, who's reached base 3 different times, 2 doubles and a walk. He's also struck out today. Pitch outside, 1-1. The 1-1 pitch from Hellings. Lifted in the air to left. Matthews camps under it, makes the catch, 1 down.
Yeah, that's a good way to start the inning. Contact wasn't the best. It's way too high. You know, good job by Wes Hellings. Not quite the flamethrower that his brother is, but man, he's holding his own right now.
This appears to be Lucas Granger still in the game. Always have to keep track of who's been taken out. Hellings fires a strike. Granger 1 for 3. As I've mentioned a few times, the one hit, the home run that opened up the scoring for Cortland, made it 2-0 at the time. As of now, that would be good enough. Pitch outside from Hellings. Count is 1-1. It's like in hockey when your team wins 5-0. The first one, game-winning goal.
That's the game-winning home run right now.
Pitch low from Hellings. Count is 2-1.
You know, the interesting thing, Cole, a lot of home runs for these Red Dragons heading into the proper rotation.
Lined over the head of Anderson, and it's a fair ball into left field. Banks off the Trinity bullpen. Granger charges in for second. He's in with a stand-up 1-out double.
You know, just found the perfect spot in the field. Maybe not necessarily the best contact, but who cares when you're on base?
Nolan Smith comes up to the plate. It's one of the Cortland Dragons that has not been taken out of this game, as Coach Brown has elected to leave the top of his order intact. Defensive substitution for Trinity. Thomas Moss has taken over at second base. Moss, traditionally a catcher, but being used in a different way today. Pitch skips into the dirt, but not enough for Granger to go anywhere. So we'll see how Moss does. Sure, a lot of these guys have different experience playing at different positions in high school. Moss, a first year with the program. The 1-0 pitch from Hellings. Ground ball, past the dive of Moss. Into center right, 1 run coming around and will score. Granger comes in, and it's 11-1 as Cortland gets the run back.
Yeah, it was a great effort by Moss. It was almost a little shocking that he got under him. He laid out for it, but just as his body was falling, the ball went right under it. It's like that ball went through an action movie.
So it'll go down as an RBI single for Nolan Smith. Luke Shartner 0 for 3 today. Comes up to the plate, and Smith, the first baseman, being taken out of the game. The pinch runner is number 35, Warren Miller. So Miller, the first year, will now be on first, and you would presume that he will take over at first. The umpire now pointing something to Shartner, maybe time called. Hellings continuing to work. He's recorded 1 out in this inning. Given up a run. Swing and a miss. Nice pitch from the younger Hellings. 0-1.
It's always interesting having brothers on the team. Have 2 different Morios. 2 different Hellings. 2
I don't know.
brothers.
Allegedly, they're different Morios. They look like the same Morio. That's fouled off onto the roof of the Bell Center. 2, 3, 4. Only a 4-hopper onto the Bell Center. 0-2.
2 sets of brothers, but they're both pitchers, which is also interesting.
Of course, we saw the Sales here yesterday. Multiple sets of brothers on that team. The DeStassos both got into action. for the 4-3 win for the Bulldogs yesterday. Brought an end to the Tigers' 6-game winning streak. One-two pitch, one down in the inning for Hellings. Misses outside. McManey did a good job to keep it in front of him. Cortland with the 11-1 lead, one down in the 7th. Swing and a miss, strike 3, and that is the first strikeout of the Trinity career of Wes Hellings.
A good way to get it. Just got Shartner chasing at a pitch that was very high. Maybe just getting a bit undisciplined with the state of the game being as it is.
Tierney now up to bat, singled his last time up. Takes a strike on the outside edge, 2 down in the inning. A little bit of a breeze at our backs right now. Going out towards center field, first time we've seen the flags move all night. The 0-1 from Hellings is fouled into the screen, making it 0-2.
And once again, Cole, when you get into games like this, it's a great opportunity to see some guys that don't necessarily see a lot of action. They perform well enough, they may get another call later on in a bigger situation.
0-2 pitch just misses. Brings the count to 1-2. For those of you interested in whether it will be a run rule or not, I do not expect one. We usually don't do that or see that on Trinity University ballpark in non-conference games. Pitch inside. McNaney liked the placement, but it misses. 2-2. That run rule usually just for SCAC play, as both teams like to use these games as a measuring stick, trying to get different players in, as you said, Reed. Grounded. The dive from Anderson. The throw can't be made. Henning can't make the scoop. Runner will go from first to third. Runners at the corners, 2 down in the inning.
A great effort by Grant Anderson. Way out to get it. That was a really strong throw. Man, I want to see how fast that throw was. Unfortunately, maybe a bit too hot to handle for Henning. Either way, great play.
So the error does flash on the scoreboard. Unclear whether that's on the throw or on the pick attempt from Henning. That's a pretty tough error to hand out, as that could have very easily gotten by Anderson's glove and would not have been called an error. So unclear whether that's an E3 or an E5. Either way, Mitchell Kelly, another pinch hitter, coming up to the plate. Looking for his first hit of the season. Waves at that one. It's 0-1. And now an H has flashed on the scoreboard. So it looks like the call has been changed to a base hit. It'll be Tierney's second base hit of the game. Back to back. So some clarity on that. The E flashed on the scoreboard because the runner advanced on the error, as Henning let the ball get behind him, but it will be credited as a base hit. Pitch misses. Count now 1-2. Runners at the corners. Swing and a miss. That's strike 3, back-to-back strikeouts from Henning, but Cortland adds on another run. It's 11-1. Hellings gets the strikeout to end the inning. We'll be back in San Antonio. Welcome back to San Antonio. Lynch still on the mound for the Red Dragons. Pierce Matthews in the batter's box for the Tigers. 1 for 2 today. So we're in the bottom of the 7th. Takes a ball high. Strike called. 1-1. Unlikely that the Tigers will come back in this one, though they have come back in similar situations before. Matthews lifts this one sky high, and there will not be a play. Lands over the Tigers dugout third base side. But we were on the call opening weekend last season when Trinity faced the Babson Beavers here. They were down 9 runs in the bottom of the 8th and managed to come back and win that game. So not unheard of for the Tigers to come back from this much this late, though very, very unlikely. Pitch in the dirt, 1-2. I only bring that up, Reed, because Pierce Matthews hit in a very important 3-run homer that really sparked the Tigers' comeback. A lot of players on that team saying that that was the moment they all believed that they could win that game. Made it 14-9 at the time. Fouls it off the end of the bat, 2-2.
The Tigers need some sort of hope right now because a situation that's looking pretty grim. I agree, Cole. And right now, I think the Tigers just need to believe that they can still win this.
The 2-2. Outside 3-2. At the very least, Matthews still putting together a quality at-bat, bringing this count full. The pitch from Lynch. Lined through the hole in left field. And it's the second hit of the day for Pierce Matthews. He's 2 for 3 today.
Well, Cole, I'm not sure this is where the comeback begins, but maybe it is. You never know, Cole. You never, ever know.
John Ramsey, the 9-hole hitter, up to bat. 0 for 2 today. He struck out and he lined out to the pitcher, and an unfortunate double play. Sort of hit off the base of the bat towards his hands. Right to the number 1 position. Threw back to first and nabbed Kai Tinker, who couldn't dive back in time. The 1-0. Ramsey lines it again. Throw back to first, this time not in time. So going from an L1 to an L5, Ramsey 0 for 3 today.
That's just another tough play for John Ramsey. Solid contact. The ball could have gone anywhere, but unfortunately just at the waiting glove of a Red Dragon.
It's exactly what you want. Pull the ball down the line. Fortunately for Ramsey, right into the waiting glove. Callan Singhania in the batter's box takes strike 1. 1 for 2 today. He's also walked. Flew out to right the last time he was up. His one hit, a single in the top, checked at the bottom of the first. Pitch outside. Brings the count to 1-1. Singhania, one of the few Tiger starters remaining in the game. Ground ball, foul down the third base line, just barely. Good glove by Tierney to go over and get it anyways. We referenced the success of these two programs in the past, and eventually that success collided in the 2016 College World Series, where Trinity and Cortland were placed on the same side of the bracket. Trinity had been to the College World Series the year before in 2015. And Cortland won the 8-team tournament the year before, becoming national champions. Two teams ran into each other. Tim Scannell and Joe Brown were both the head coaches at the time, as they are now. And Trinity ended up beating Cortland twice in that tournament. Ground ball to short, could be 2. Throw to first, not in time. Singhania able to beat it out and keeps the inning alive.
Heck, is that part of that World Series team, that run? And that was a team that was having a lot of fun making it to the College World Series. Tigers have been a couple times. But that team, they were finding fat suits and lockers to wear and run out in. They were doing a whole bunch of crazy stuff back then.
So now a pinch hitter, Evan Kuhl, who replaced Maddox McDonald in center field, will take over for him in the batter's box. His first plate appearance of the day. Starts with strike one. Runner on first is Singhania, reached by a 6'4" fielder's choice. Pitch inside, ball one. Just reminded by our executive producer, Josh Muchagemba, that Tigers World Series run started with a pretty humiliating defeat to TLU. Ended up with a full team meeting. That ball barely goes foul off the bat of Kuhl, 1-2. But whatever Coach Scannell said in that huddle lit a fire under the team. They went all the way and won the national championship, winning 17 straight games to end their season. One of the great runs in Trinity baseball history. High chopper to first, fielded cleanly, and it ends the inning. Trinity cannot tack on another run. It is 11-1 Cortland as we head to the top of the 8th in San Antonio. Game 1 of 4 between these two ranked opponents. Welcome back to the top of the 8th here in San Antonio. Kyle Hoggett, the new pitcher on the mound for the Tigers, the local San Antonio kid, went to Reagan High School. Comes in with a 1-0 record, 3 innings pitched, 3 strikeouts, a whip of just 2/3. First pitch, bends into the zone, strike one.
Hoggett had some pretty impressive stuff against McMurray. You're going to see a lot of breaking balls trying to get guys to chase.
Another pinch hitter, James Bolton, into the game, takes strike two. Hoggett so far a good start. Ahead 0-2. Ground ball, chopper, tough play for Anderson, makes the throw in time. Good stretch by Henning, too, to make the play at first. First out of the inning achieved.
I think maybe some exception by the coaching staff of Cortland, trying to argue that Henning came off the bag. But first base umpire calls the out.
The wind kicking up a notch here in San Antonio. It hadn't made its appearance for a very long time until now. Taylor Elkins into the game, fouls the first pitch he sees off. Elkins has walked the last 2 times he's been up to the plate. Chopper over the head of Hoggett. Play by Ramsey, quick throw, not in time. Pulls Henning off the bag. And it'll go go down, you would assume, as a base hit for Elkins.
Yeah, they do flash the H. It was a tough play. Had to get a quick throw off. No, the fact that the throw was a bit offline, understandable. And now you got the double play on the table if you're the Tigers, potentially.
The wind here going from right to left. Danny Jackson 0 for 1 today. He was a pinch hitter. Haga behind 1-0. Now the count is even after the foul ball, 1 apiece. Cortland out hitting Trinity 12-5. Trinity with 3 errors to Cortland's none. That's been a big part of this game, though Cortland has just been good all the way around, up 11-1 here in San Antonio. Ground ball hit sharply, could be 2. Throw to first, not in time, just a little bit low. Henning can't make the play, now has to go get it after the throw gets away. Throw to second, just a bit offline, as they nearly get Jackson trying to get an extra base.
It's a close play, Cole. Almost got the double play. They're going to flash the E on the board. It's a lot of errors for the Tigers tonight, Cole. Much similar to last night as well. Got some fielding to clean up.
Chris Bonacci into the game, 2 for 4 today with 2 doubles. Comes out with 2 outs in this game as the Tigers were able to get the out at second. Takes a strike, 0-1. And you're right, Reed, a lot of fielding to clean up. Errors were not an issue all year until the last 2 nights. 3 last night, now 4 today. And you're not going to win a lot of games if you give 4 free bases like that. Pitch from Hoggett. Slider bends into the zone, strike 2. And he's looked good today so far.
Yeah, he did a lot of the same against McMurray. Not only does he get guys to chase, but he can really locate that breaking ball when he's on it.
Not somebody we've seen a lot, but maybe another guy that's emerging in this staff, similar to the way that Clayton Jackson did a weekend ago. Pitch inside, but McNaney liked the spot, brings the count to 1-2. The 1-2 pitch from Hoggett. Fouled off into the screen. Runner still on second, 2 down in the inning. The 1-2 count to Bonacci. Pitch misses inside, trying to get Bonacci to chase.
He's really trying to locate as well. That was a good location, good pitch. Just didn't get him to bite this time.
Deuces are wild. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Pitch way outside. McNaney has to slide to his left to reel in that one. Hoggett trying to get out of this inning. Send us to the bottom of the 8th. Line to Ramsey, who makes a slight jump to make the catch. And that will end the frame. A scoreless one put up by Trinity pitching. We'll head to the bottom of the 8th. It's still 11-1. Cortland with the lead. Welcome back to the bottom of the 8th here in the Alamo City. New pitcher in the game for Cortland. It's Brady Mazzio. Comes in with over an inning pitched, an ERA of 0. 1 strikeout, 4 walks, and we would have had quite the matchup. Would have been Mazzio versus Lazara. But Matt McNaney up to the plate. Defensive substitution for Nick Lazara. Takes a pitch away.
For the loss of that matchup call, all I can say is, Mamma Mia.
Mamma Mia. Mamma Mia, they let it go. Pitch inside, ball 1. Let's see if Matt McNaney can do his best Nick Lazara impression. Hit a meatball into left field. Takes a strike, 1 and 2. Swing and a miss, that's strike 3. Ball in the dirt. Throw to first to finish the job is in time.
Yeah, good swing, or good to get him to swing rather, on the breaking ball. Took a path similar to a spaghetti strand in a bowl. And how could you not swing at such an appetizing pitch?
Well, the noodle gets out number 1. Pitch in to Henning for strike 1. Jack Henning, 0 for 1 today. Hit to third, throw across the diamond strong and in time. Quickly 2 down in the inning.
Another great play by the Cortland defense. Up and out their guy on the mound. A beautiful throw over the diamond. As good as it gets almost.
That was Dan Collins at third, making the play, a defensive substitution. Strike to pinch hitter Thomas Moss. 400 average, is making his first plate appearance today. Pitch inside, 1 and 1. Mazzio trying to work a clean inning. Line sharply into the screen, foul ball. The 1-2 pitch to Moss. Off the end of the bat to short. Ranging throw made, but not in time. It gets away. Moss elects to hold his spot at first base. It'll go down as a base hit.
Good piece of hitting. You know, not a lot of opportunities left for the Tigers, but, you know, still something nonetheless.
Brings up Brandon Nelson, who has accounted for the 1 run on the scoreboard, a solo homer back in the 6th. 2 for 3 today. His other hit, a single. Foul ball into the street behind the ballpark. Ooh, all the way across the street. That was a long way. Long strike. Long backward strike. Thomas Moss on first base. The 0-1 pitch to Nelson. Away, 1 and 1. Moss being held on by first baseman Warren Miller. Plenty of defensive substitutions for Cortland. Pitch gets away, and Moss will sprint for second and get there safely. Continuing to run through the defensive substitutions for Cortland. Danny Jackson takes over at second base. Dylan Tierney moves over to shortstop. These have all happened throughout the last couple of innings. Swing and a miss from Nelson brings the count to 2 and 2. I apologize that the process is so slow. We're not able to connect to Wi-Fi on the roof at the moment, so I'm having to use my binoculars and scout these guys one by one. So I've gone through the infield Now going into the outfield. 2-2 pitch to Nelson. Foul ball, skips foul right into the Trinity dugout. Everybody seems to be okay. Wind continuing to rip at our back. Lucas Granger remains in right field. Two-two pitch, 2 outs. Moss, the runner on second for Trinity. Swing and a miss, that's strike 3. Nelson swings at a pitch outside the zone, and it ends the inning. Only one more to go here in San Antonio. The top of the 9th coming up when we come back on Trinity Tiger Network. Top of the 9th here in San Antonio. New pitcher on the mound for the Tigers. It's Rylan Rangel, ERA of 6 through 3 innings pitched. Opportunity to lower that here in this outing. Starts with ball 1. Mark Stockhausen from the Bronx, New York. Another substitution here for Cortland. Leading off the top of the 9th. Ahead 2-0 on Rangel. Pitch inside. Rangel trying to find the zone against the leadoff man. Cortland out hitting Trinity 12-6 so far today. And that's ball 4. So another walk handed out by Trinity pitching. And not a good way to start the 9th for Rangel.
Certainly not, Cole. With the score being 11-1, I think just trying to see what he can do out there. I don't think we'll see another Trinity pitcher tonight.
Pitch away. Ball 1. Warren Miller, who took over defensively at first base, now into bat. Works with a runner on first and nobody out. Swing and a miss, strike 1. From Rangel, the San Antonio native. Like Kyle Hoggett, went to Reagan High School. In high school, Rangel played both ways, played in the middle infield. Swing and a miss, strike 2. Brings the count to 1-2. When I talked to pitching coach Dave Smith about Rangel, he said he reluctantly stopped playing both ways, implying he still would like to hit if he can, but they want him to focus on pitching. Now on the mound for his 4th inning of the season. A 2-2 count. Chopper, fair ball, first base line, and Henning makes the play for out number 1. The runner advances to second.
Yeah, I think one that maybe Miller wished went foul, but just stayed fair to the favor of the Tigers. They get 1 out.
Another pinch hitter for DeSales, Zach Taro, the graduate student. Susquehanna Valley High School. Quick meeting between Rangel and McNaney as they meet halfway between the dish and the mound. Runner still on second, only one out in this one. A reminder that this series will continue with Game 2 tomorrow night. And also live on YouTube here in San Antonio. Series will continue then on Saturday and Sunday. First pitch times of 2 o'clock and noon Central Time, respectively. 1-0 pitch, swing and a miss. Tigers dropping their first home game of the season last night to DeSales 4-3. It was a disappointing offensive effort to say the least. Sure, if you're a Trinity fan, you were hoping that they would follow that up with more contact, more bat-to-ball skills, but not the case today. Only 1 run on the board, 6 hits, and on the wrong end of an 11-1 score. The 2-1 pitch misses, 3-1.
I think the good thing, Cole, is at least you got more hits today than you did last night. That's a bright side.
Tigers still almost won last night somehow. Had the tying run on third base. 2 down in the 9th. Swing and a miss. A strike. Oh, check that. It was 3-1. Brings the count full now. So Rangel was still with work to do. Runner on second. Still only 1 down in the inning. But the Tigers still almost won that game last night. Tying run on third base. 2 down in the 9th. Swing and a miss. There's the strikeout. 2 down in the inning.
A good job to get the strikeout. Just got him swinging. Very simple. It's a good way to get the second out. We're 1 out away from sending it to the bottom of the 9th.
Dylan Tierney up to bat once again. 2 for 5 today, a .341 hitter on the year with 11 RBIs. Pitch is down. Count is now 1-0. Check swing, didn't go around, and looks like he got hit by it. Or not. He's Tierney not moving to first base. Umpire flashed the signal that appeared to look like a hit by pitch, but not the case. Count remains 1-1. Down the middle, strike 2. This has to be a very promising game for Cortland. And their coach wanted a better effort today. Swing and a miss, strike 3. And that will end the inning. We head to the bottom of the 9th. This one almost over. Cortland on their way to a Game 1 victory here in San Antonio. We'll be back. We're back in San Antonio. Bottom of the ninth. Tigers need 10 runs. Seems unlikely, but stay tuned. You never know. Matsio back on the mound. Facing Grant Anderson, 0 for 1 today. Fouled into the screen. Anderson down 0-2. It's Matsio who pitched the last inning. This is hit in the air into right field, but foul into the Cortland bullpen.
You know, it's another baseball that you can use for the bullpen. I mean, I doubt Cortland's going to go to the bullpen, but if they do, they got a ball.
Well, there you go. Maybe they can use it tomorrow. Swing and a miss. That looked like it plunked Anderson, but he went around. Go down as a foul ball. That cut very much in on him.
Oh, yeah.
Hit him right between the digits.
Whew. No, it's a scary pitch. I think thankfully he didn't have that much velo, but man, doesn't feel good.
0-2. Grounded through the hole on the left side. A base hit for Grant Anderson. So Grant Anderson takes his spot on first base. Goes down as the 7th hit. Pierce Matthews up to the plate for the Tigers. Anderson on first. Ground ball into center field. Back-to-back hits for Trinity. Anderson hustling to third. The throw over the head. Nearly into the Trinity dugout. But thankfully for Cortland, it doesn't get all the way there, as that would have been an extra base and a run.
It might be the most productive hit all night, Cole, other than the home run. It's bringing tears to my eyes right now.
So Matthews does make his way to second base. So runners at second and third for the bottom of the order and John Ramsey. Ramsey up to the plate, an opportunity. 0 for 3 today. Takes a strike. Nice pitch from Matsio. Back-to-back hits for Trinity. Their 7th and 8th hits of the night. Ground ball, slowly hit. Throw to first is in time, but the run will score. Goes down as an RBI for John Ramsey, and it's 11-2.
Hey, it's a good job to scratch across another run. RBI. You know, right now, 11-2. Just keep it rolling as long as you can. Really.
I think at the very least they would like some momentum to carry into tomorrow. Would have been two unfortunate, disappointing offensive efforts by Trinity in back-to-back nights. Top of the lineup, Callan Singhania up to bat. Takes a pitch away. Breaking ball misses. Count now 1-0. Singhania 1 for 3 today. Pitch inside, 2-0.
Yeah, it's also situations like this that are important, even when the score is what it is. Just, have the ability to bring your guy on third home without sacrifice flying him in.
Ball high, 3-0. So Matsio has only recorded 1 out through 3 batters. Pitch inside edge, 3-1, probably a red light situation from Singhania. Looks back at the home plate umpire, wondering where that was. Pitch over the head. Runner coming in, Safe! So Pierce Matthews heads up base running, aggressive, charges into third, and scores the third Tigers run of the night.
Yeah, good heads up base running, close play at the plate, but the slide from Matthews, yeah, he got his hand in before he got tagged. Great job.
As close as it gets, a walk for Singhania, and the wild pitch gets Matthews to score, brings up Evan Kuhl. Took over for Maddox McDonald earlier in this game. Evan Kuhl 0 for 1 today. Takes a pitch away. Ball 1. The wind getting stronger as this game rolls along. Was at a standstill for a solid 2/3 of this one. Now back at what I would consider its normal levels. Fouled off. Count now 1-1 to Evan Kuhl.
I'm gonna go with Trinity College.
Mazzio trying to get out of this inning, has already surrendered 2 runs. His team still with a comfortable 11-3 lead. Breaking ball just misses. 2-1.
You know, it's also important because a lot of these guys coming up are younger guys. Get them some good quality ABs.
Two-one pitch. Hit fair, could be trouble. And no throw to first. Cool, an infield single, and it's the 3rd hit of the inning for Trinity.
Yeah, just beat it out. I think smart not to throw it. I think throwing it would have only been probably a net negative because I think only bad things could happen. I'm not sure they were ever going to get Moss at first, so good job just holding on to it.
Now Matt McNaney will come up to the plate. A quick meeting between pitcher and catcher. Mazzio trying to get out of this inning, double play possibility to potentially end this one with 1 down. 2 runs have already come across here in the bottom of the 9th. 2 runners on. Singhania at second, Evan Kuhl at first. McNaney, did he go around? Yes, he did. Strike 1.
McNaney maybe being a bit too quick to jump on that one. You know, 0-1 counts early on in the AB.
Ground ball to first, slowly hit, but the trip made easily. For out number 2, both runners do advance.
It's a very interesting way the ball went off the bat. Not very conventional. See on the replay. It ran in on his hands. Kind of hit like a pull cue off of the cue ball.
Seen a couple of those weak hit balls. This one, unfortunately, for McNaney down the first base line where a throw did not have to be made. Now Henning up. Takes pitch way inside, had to get out of the way. Jack Henning 0 for 2 today. RBI opportunity for the first year. Runners at second and third. 2 down in the 9th. Strike down the middle, 1-1.
And when you're down to your final out, in a situation like this, just try and end off on a high note or something you can try and beat.
Breaking ball misses up, 2-1.
Getting across those couple runs, I think big for momentum heading into the rest of the series.
At the very least, the Tigers hoping to carry some of that offensive momentum. This is a foul ball down the first base line, so everybody has to go back. Sharply hit, though.
Yeah, that was potentially dangerous. I'll move it a couple feet to the left. That would have been fair. We would have had 2 runners coming to score.
2's on the board, 2 strikes, 2 balls. 2 out, 2 on. Henning rips it into left and caught. The Cortland Red Dragons take game 1 of this 4-game series. They end their 3-game losing streak in emphatic fashion. And Reed, it was not particularly close early, 6-0 right out the gate.
Yeah, I call that just really set the tone. the home run early on, then the 4 runs that came with another home run. Yeah, you know, Cole, just tonight, Cortland was the better baseball team on this field. We'll see if that continues into tomorrow night, but I'm sure the Tigers, Coach Scannell, will come together and think of something to do.
The two accomplished coaches on both sides, Joe Brown and Tim Scannell, each with 800 wins for their programs, shake hands at home plate, and they will see each other over the course of the next 3 days, and so will we. Hope you guys all tune in for the next 3 games in a row, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday games 2, 3, and 4, respectively. Joey Hagan takes the loss today, only pitched 1.2 innings. And Jessen getting the win for Cortland. Well, for everybody here in San Antonio, everybody working the control room, cameras, and my partner Reed Rosales, I'm Cole Isaacson saying so long from Trinity campus. We hope to see you tomorrow. Stay safe.